Hi, and welcome back to the Heretical Heart Podcast. I'm your host, April Porter, and today I want to talk about accepting the wrong invitation. So, many of you know I am a 5/2 emotional projector, and I have had quite the journey with the invitation. In the beginning, I really kind of rejected it, like I have to wait for this invitation. And so it took me a long time to play with this and realize what the invitation was. And even with all that said, human design found me in 2015. Here we are 11 years later, and I still find myself accepting invitations occasionally that aren't right. And with an emotional authority, it can be a little tricky, right? Because I also have an open root and open sacral. Those are the only two open centers in my chart. So there's a lot of pressure that comes into my chart. A lot of pressure to make a decision, a lot of pressure to be free of the pressure. And sometimes it gets me, and I get caught up in things that I realize later were not great opportunities. So this happened to me last year on at least 3 separate occasions where I accepted invitations into things that turned out to not be great for me. One was a human design specific thing. And I thought that it would be good for my business. I thought it was a great opportunity because it was human design related. I thought it would be a great place to get exposure for my business, and it wasn't. It turns out that the affiliate links that I was using were not the correct ones. So even though I had sent this out, I'd done all the correct, quote unquote correct, marketing for it that I was required to do, it did not benefit me in any material way. And I don't really think it even benefited me in an exposure way. The people who showed up were people who wanted free things, and then they dipped out. And that's fine, right? There's always going to be those people, and I don't have any animosity towards that at all, because I too have dipped into people's communities or free things and got what I needed and got out because that was all I needed from that situation. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? We're always going to have a percentage of people who do that. But when you are investing your time and energy and effort into something and not getting any return on it, that's where we have to look at it and go, is this a good use of your time and energy? So I remember I was trying to find the topic for this event, and I couldn't find it. I had already accepted the invitation, and then I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? What's important here? And I went round and round with this, and eventually landed on something. I recorded the whole thing, and it disappeared. I know, right? You're listening and you're like, okay, come on, lady. Like, of course this was not for you. All the signs are pointing to this is not for you. But I'd already committed, and having a divine will center, I have a tendency to, once I commit to something, I'm going to see it through until I decide that I'm not doing it anymore. And I hadn't decided I wasn't doing it anymore yet. So I powered through, I re-recorded it, and it was just like one roadblock after the other. And then to find out that it didn't even benefit me in the end, and it caused a lot of frustration. It took quite a bit of time. I left that feeling a little disappointed, but I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset about it in that way. I was just like, that wasn't a great invitation. And now I know I've learned a lesson. I know these signs to pay attention to even more with myself. But then a couple months later, I got invited to another event, another online event for businesses. And this one was not human design specific, but it was a situation where a lot of these events want you to have a specific amount of email subscribers. They want you to email a specific amount of times within a specific time frame. And I get why they want you to do that, because they want as much exposure as possible. But I don't really enjoy that, and I don't like it. I don't like it when people email me 47 times about the same event that they are participating in for somebody else. I don't. And so if you tell me I need to send 2 or 3 emails over the course of a few weeks, okay, I can get behind that if it feels worthwhile. So I signed on to do this. And after the first email went out, I got an email back from the host asking what my rates were because there weren't enough clicks on the link that they had provided me for affiliate links. I can't control what people are going to do. I can send the email, I can send it out to thousands of people, but ultimately it's up to them to click on it or not. And I don't know about you, but last year, 2025 was a whole shit show. And people weren't opening emails in the same way. People were unsubscribing like crazy. People were clearing out the clutter. People were tired of being marketed to. And I think we still are. But there was a huge pushback, and I saw that there was a big behavior change because I had participated in some summits and events in the past, and the open rates were good. It was good. People were interested. But I think that we've had enough of the summits. We've had enough of the information crammed down our throats in 3 days, or you have to buy this package to be able to watch the videos again. And most of us don't have time in our day to watch 27 videos within a 24-hour time period, absorb the information, take it in, and get something useful out of it. I would rather pay somebody to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with me where I'm going to get something specific to me rather than getting flooded with 30 videos in a day that I have to watch and try and make sense of and figure out how they apply to me. Most of us are moving through life with so much information coming at us, and information is not what we're looking for anymore. We have information at our fingertips. Between Google and AI, you can get an answer to anything in seconds. So it's not that we don't have access to the information. We don't have access to the implementation, to the support, to the way of integrating this into our lives. We are so sped up that we're not integrating anything. So it makes sense to me that this was my learning experience last year of participating in these events that did not work out. And I think it was kind of unfair that the host put that on the participants because we were doing this free. We weren't paid for this. We were asked to contribute. They were making money off of it. We weren't. We were, doing it for exposure, but even that it kind of backfired. I had more unsubscribes from my email list from those two events than most anything all year. The other thing I'll say is that accepting the right podcast guest or guesting experience is really important as well. I entered into an agreement with somebody to be a guest and to have them as a guest on our podcasts. I was sold something that wasn't entirely true. I was told that this person had a very prominent podcast. Turns out it has not been publishing in a couple years. There were file issues, there were upload issues apparently, and my appearance never got published. The whole thing left me feeling awful. I tried to be kind but direct in my communication of asking what was happening, when this would publish, what was going on. Weeks went by, and it was very vague at best. And I held up my end of the bargain. And if we're going back to human design, I have the channel 3740. So bargains, right? Bargains made, and this bargain was not being upheld. And it felt really yucky. It felt really bad. And I thought, why would I promote this person on my podcast if this is the behavior that they are showing to another professional? What are they showing to their clients? It's the only time that I have ever removed an episode from my podcast. And I would do it again because I do not want to, I don't want to refer my clients or potential clients, my audience, to anyone that feels out of integrity for me. And now this is not to say that I am not out of integrity somewhere, because I think that we all are in some place. We can't be in integrity in every aspect of our life 100% of the time. We're always evolving and working on something. But when somebody is out of integrity in a way that says, I don't care that I am, that's a problem for me. And I'm not going to refer my clients or audience to somebody like that. So all this to say, I entered into some agreements last year that were not great for me. And I learned a huge lesson through that. So I say this because I think that we as projectors can be so excited to feel like we're recognized, to feel like somebody wants our insight, our guidance, our knowledge about something that we are passionate about, that we sometimes jump into the invitation before we know if it's really correct for us or not. And the other side to that is that sometimes we enter into it feeling like it is, and then recognizing that it isn't later. And I want to say that it's okay to back out of something if you find yourself in an agreement that you later decide is not right for you. I should have done that when I recognized that this was going sideways, but I did not, because I had committed to it and I felt like I had to see it through. I'm going to call bullshit on myself, because that was not true. I did sign an agreement. There was a certain amount I had to uphold, but I did not need to go beyond that. And I just want to give permission to anyone who needs to hear it. Like, if you are entering into things because you are afraid that there isn't going to be another invitation, that's not true. There will be another invitation. If you are staying in an invitation for longer than is good for you, you don't have to. So the word that keeps coming back to me this year, somebody mentioned to me that their word of the year, I think in January, was discernment. And I thought, that's an interesting word. And I don't really have a word necessarily every year that I choose or anything like that. But this word keeps coming back to me over and over and over again this year. Discernment. What is worth our time? What is worth our energy? What is worth our attention? And I myself have found that I am spending way too much time on social media, that I am spending way too much time scrolling my phone or leaving tabs open on my computer, checking shit that does not matter, and getting caught up in it, in everything that is happening. And it's not to say that I don't want to pay attention to what's happening in the world, but I don't need to be overwhelmed by it. And I've used this excuse, and I'm going to call it an excuse, because for years I've said I would get off of Facebook and Instagram if it weren't for my business. But I have a business presence there, so I can't ignore it, because if somebody messages me, if somebody, requests something and I don't show up, then that is going to look bad on my business. But this week I've just decided I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm opting out. I deactivated my Facebook and my Instagram. Deactivated TikTok a while ago. I don't want to be on them. I don't want to dance and sing and play the algorithms. I don't want to spend all my time making reels or carousels or images to be put up and be seen by 3 people for 3 seconds. I don't have any control over what happens to that content once I put it on there, but I keep going back for more to understand what is happening. What did I do? What could I do differently? And I don't want to do that. I want to serve people like you, people who want to be supported. That's where I want to put my energy. I don't want to spend it doing this other crap that doesn't matter to me. So I'm going old school. I'm getting off social media, and I'm going to see what happens. So maybe you're along this journey with me. Maybe you have been wondering the same thing. Can you make your business work without social media? I don't know where you are in your business, but please feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know where you are. If you too are interested in leaving social media, or if you have, what your experience was like, because I'm so very curious. But I can tell you that I feel so much freer. It's been 2 days and I feel freer already. There have been times where I pick up my phone and I swipe and I'm looking for that app and I go, oh, I don't have that anymore. I don't need that. And I'm realizing how much time I spent just picking up my phone and checking it. Not even checking it for anything important either. Just checking it for the sake of checking it, for something to do. And I'm realizing I have so much more time than I thought I had. There are so many creative projects that I've wanted to do, but I think, oh, I'll get to that at the end of the day, or I do that after I get through this thing. And I spend so much time wasted doing shit that doesn't matter. And I'm done. I'm going to do shit that matters, and I am going to connect with people, and I am going to create more, and I am going to love life more. So I hope that this message resonates with you. I would love to hear what's going on in your world. You're always free to send me a message and let me know, because I'm deeply curious about all of you. All right, that's all I have today. I do want to mention that I do have a new offer out. It is the Manifesting Without All the Good Vibes bullshit, and it's a bundled offer. So you get a session, you get a custom human design report on manifestation, which is my unique perspective on it, where I believe that you don't need to say more positive affirmations. You don't need to be more worthy to manifest what you want. I believe that you're manifesting every minute of the day, but we want to manifest more of things that are in alignment rather than lessons. And I can show you how to do that through your unique human design chart. So if this is interesting, you get a mini video course, a session with me, and your custom report that you keep forever. So you can find that on the website. If you have questions, let me know. I'll be back when I'm back. I am only publishing my podcast this year when I feel inspired or like I have something to say. So I don't know when that'll be again. So make sure you hit subscribe so that you know the next time an episode drops, and I will see you next time.